All right, my friends, this is going to be called the Poor Man's Trust video. We had, this will be follow-up to the video I did yesterday where we talked about the most important person in your estate plan. And this is, I had a good comment actually. Someone said, what if you don't want to, you have a estate of $1 million or $2 million and you don't really want to pay for a trustee? What do you do then? So we're going to talk about that because I actually thought it was a wonderful comment. So I look at the comments. I appreciate your comment because if I get good comments, man, that I want to digest a little bit and focus on a little bit more, I will. So as always, don't forget, welcome to Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe down below. So again, we got our parent, all right, and we got Johnny, all right. So parent's got $1 million. He's like, yeah, I don't want Johnny to get it because when Johnny gets it, he is thinking about that boat. He's called it the money ship. And he's thinking about his little ne'er-do-well hangers-on or just waiting for Johnny's dad to die or mom to die. So it will actually be mom to die. So Johnny could get that boat and they can party like it's 1999? Was that Prince song? And so he's like, man, let's go. I want to party. And the mom or dad's like, oh, man, Johnny's bad. So what I said yesterday is that if you have a simple IRA beneficiary designation, let's just say it's an IRA, that will transfer to Johnny with no restrictions on it. So John just gets the money. He can do whatever he wants. Sniff it up his nose, go hang out with his friends, go to the race tracks. It doesn't matter. If it's just a simple IRA beneficiary designation, it's going to transfer to Johnny without question. Now, if it's a non-IRA account, it'll transfer via a TOD, a transfer on death arrangement. If it's an investment account, if it's a bank account, it'll transfer via a POD, a payable on death arrangement. Either way, there's no restrictions on Johnny getting the money, doing whatever he wants with it. If you have neither of those beneficiary designations, not really beneficiary designations, but they are, they're just for non-IRA 401k accounts. You say, I'm opening a brokerage account with Vanguard, I'm going to put a TOD on there, transfer on death. It's just a way to avoid probate. So if it's a TOD, a POD, or a beneficiary designation, it's just transferred to Johnny, no restrictions. Johnny can do whatever he wants, all right? So you're like, well, I don't want that either because I want to put restriction on it. So I'm going to get this person called a trustee. And I'm going to hire this person. And I'm not, let's see here. Yay! And we'll have this guy with a tie. You can see my handwriting is great. So we're going to have this trustee in there, but that trustee is going to charge probably 1.5% on the very minimal. So the trustee, and it might even charge more than that depending on how much you have in the account and depending on if you have other investments, what kind of investments he has. So it might be 2% all-in fee. In fact, I've seen a lot of trust accounts, 2% all-in fees. But let's just say it's 1.5 on $1 million. That's going to be $15,000. Yeah, so $15,000. So each and every year you're paying $15,000 to the money go here to go to Johnny on a basis of 50,000 a year, 40,000 a year, something like that. And so you're saying I'm going to pay $15,000 a year of my hard-earned money for the money to go to Johnny, a clip of $50,000 a year, or something like that. So that way Johnny doesn't get it all in one fell swoop and lose it on this boat and all his ne'er-do-well friends. So you're like, man, that doesn't seem that worth it to me. And again, a lot of trust services are more than 1.5. So what can you do? Now again, you can name Aunt Maria, you can name Uncle John, you can do whatever you want to be the trustee. But I already told you yesterday, how much do they really want to get in between Johnny's wanting that money? Do they really want to be the bad person that says, oh, Johnny, I'm going to keep you from yourself, and Johnny's calling him up drunk. Aunt Maria, I need to get my money. Come on, you're always mean to me. I didn't deserve that. Aunt Maria doesn't want to be involved in that. It's just, never mind the paperwork that goes with it. Never mind the potential liability if Johnny feels like he hasn't been treated fairly. He hires some enterprising attorney, and next thing you know, there is a lawsuit, and the family's kaboom. So what's the alternative? Poor man's trust. This is what we call it. Poor man's trust. Poor man's trust. Now, it doesn't have to be a man. It's gender neutral here. Poor man's trust simply says, I got $1 million. I want John to have access to it because I do want him to be able to spend some on his family, whatever he's doing. I just don't want to have unfettered access to the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into an income annuity. You ready? We call these, if I get my SPIA, called a single premium income annuity. That's a SPIA, a single premium income annuity. I'm going to put $1 million in there. So we're putting $1 million into a single premium income annuity. It's going to pay me, I don't know, $50,000 a year, we'll just say, for life of who? We're going to make Johnny the annuitant, and maybe we do Johnny and Pops or Mom as the what's called the annuitant, which is what you're basing the premium on, the life of the annuitant. How long this person's going to live is how much the annuity pays. All right, so look, I have no clue what it is in terms of if Johnny's 45 years old or whatever. How much would he get on $1 million? Probably not. Well, I don't know. I literally have no idea. But it might be 4.5%. Yeah, it's probably close. Anyway, so we're going to say at the end of the day, I'm going to put this $1 million in account, and I'm going to get $50,000 for the life of the annuitant, and we're going to make Johnny the annuitant and the beneficiary. So in this case, every year, $50,000 goes to Johnny until he's dead. $50,000. And look, you got to look at all these different insurance companies. They have all kinds of different scenarios on how to do this. All kinds of different ramifications, all kinds of different numbers they're going to run in terms of interest rates, mortality tables, and whatnot. But I'm going to give him, again, $50,000 a year, but he doesn't have access to this thing. And every single year he's alive, he will get that. Now, I don't recommend necessarily the inflation adjustment, simply because if you do that, it takes a long time for the inflation adjustment to really kick in and make it worthwhile. But you can do whatever you want. But simply what happens now is you have no fees at all right? So Johnny does not have access to this. That is gone. That's the thing with an income annuity. Once you do it, it's an irrevocable event. You have no more access to the principal. It's gone, all right? So you can't have access to it. Some annuities will allow you to have it. USA did one, and I just didn't have that much benefit. But you could set it up depending on the insurance company. What I'm using here, though, is there's no access to the principal. It's gone. So $50,000 a year for as long as Johnny's alive, not adjusted for inflation, nothing. And so let's just say Johnny lives for 30 years. 30 years times 50,000. $1.5 million finds its way to Johnny. Now, Johnny's got to pay tax on that, but there's no trust document to draw up. There's no trustee. Essentially, the insurance company's a trustee. You're not naming them, you're not paying them for that, but that's essentially what they are. They're taking your money, they're investing it in order to pay Johnny a specified amount each and every year for the rest of Johnny's life, and that's it. There's no fees, no fuss, no muss. Now, that will be taxable to Johnny as income, all right? So it depends on how the annuity is set up. If it's all from an IRA, all that will be taxable as income, and so you just got to keep that in mind. It's all as with any IRA. Anything comes out as taxable as income to the beneficiary. That's all there is to it. If it's a non-IRA, say half of it is your cost basis, half of it was growth, then only $25,000 that will be taxable to Johnny as income. So it depends on how the money has been received in which to put it in a SPIA. But again, what happens is you call USA or you call Transamerica, whatever these life insurance companies are, say, got $1 million, don't want Johnny to blow it. I'm going to put it into a single premium income annuity, recognizing that it can never be tapped into again unless they have some construction of the contract. But generally speaking, it can never be tapped into again. And as long as Johnny's alive, because he's the annuitant, he will get that $50,000 a year for the rest of his life. He cannot talk to Transamerica or USA, whatever the life insurance company is, say, hey, give me some more money. I need it to go to the gambling. Won't work like that. They say $50,000 a year. Now, if Johnny dies, the annuity would stop. That's the thing with an income annuity. If you don't do a period certain, it stops at the death of the annuitant. And I've got videos on that, which I won't go into that right here. So he might not get the full $1 million back, depending how you set it up. But at the end of the day, you know he won't squander your money. That's a fact. He's only going to squander the amount he gets on any given year, which may or may not be what he's hoping for, but it will be something for sure, and it can never go away as long as the insurance company stays solvent, which is a pretty safe bet in my opinion. So that, my friends, is a poor man's trust. Easiest pie to set up, doesn't cost you anything. The only drawback is once you do it, it can't be undone, all right? And I'm trying to think what else the drawback is. I mean, with any income annuity, there's always drawbacks in terms of I could have done better in the stock market or something like that. But in this case, because all we're trying to do is protect Johnny from himself, and you don't want to pay a trustee $15,000 a year or put your Aunt Maria in a problem of being the intermediary, separating Johnny from the money. Getting an insurance company to do it through an income annuity is absolutely the way to go. All right, hope this helps. As always, if you like what you see here, subscribe. Comments, questions, thoughts, love to hear them. Don't forget to go to the blog at heritagewealthplanning.com, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.